Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love these. You may be a redneck if you come back from the dump with more than you took. You may be a redneck if you keep a can of Raid on your kitchen table. And one of my favorites, you may be a redneck if you consider your license plate personalized because your father made it. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Call in with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. And a good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and thank you for tuning in. And our major sponsor, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and they've got everything ready for you to take a road trip. The best of tires. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line, have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
You're the man.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And right now it's time for our weather, brought to you by K&R Rental, and they're located on the Burley Paul Highway, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Hello, Roger and the crew. I'm telling you, they get there early in the morning at 7 a.m., and they offer all the rental tools and equipment for both the long and the short terms when you need them. And don't forget, stop in or give them a call and find out exactly what they have that'll help you. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Finally, some steady sunshine in our forecast. Here's a look at your weather on Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies for today. High of 79, winds out of the south-southeast, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 54. Tomorrow, again, another beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 85. Winds out of the south-southeast, right around 10 miles an hour, turning to the west. 15 to 20 miles an hour by the afternoon, and wind could gust up as high as 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies with a low of 52. By Friday, sunny skies and 81. Saturday, cooling down to sunny and 75. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by K&R Rental. Hello to the great guys and gals over there, starting at 7 in the morning to serve you with the best of tools and equipment. All you need to do is stop in at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway, or give them a call at 678-3122. K&R Rental. Got a couple of notes here I want to put out. Number one, my company, Shoot 2 Promotions, is getting bigger, and we need another salesperson on a part-time basis. If you're interested, please call me after the program, naturally, on my cell phone at 312-2976. I'll repeat that number, 312-2976, and we'll sure talk. I appreciate that. Also, Also, we want to say a big thank you to our friends over at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, my goodness, good morning. They also get up early in the morning to start serving you for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. That's right, Ramsey Heating and Electric, and they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Start at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. Number to call, 678-0459. They're the best. Don't forget, call them today. They always provide warm winters and cool summers at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow's the big day. We're going to be back in the swing of having Lunch Bunch back in order. And we'll bring the gavel down and start at 11:30. Hope you're there. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your relatives. And Eddie, bring all your friends. Fill up the place tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant. And, of course, that's at 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. Oh, we have great food. Oh, we've got the best of service, and we look forward to seeing you there. And we're going to have a lot of gift certificates to give away on the drawings, Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerell Place, Denny's, all those folks. We thank them very much. Lunch Bunch tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. It is America's Diner. Absolutely. I've got a question for you. And no matter how you approach this story, I was criticized when I brought it up a year ago, heavily criticized, as if it's off the beaten path of trying to mention something like this and ask questions, but it's not to me. I was reading in the paper the other day, I believe it was in Sunday's edition, that 6 of 10, over 60% of Twin Falls School District students receive free or reduced price lunches. Now, during the summer, they are giving away, in Twin Falls alone, over 13 different locations every day of free lunches. And one of the people interviewed said this is a great program, et cetera, and where 64% of the students qualify for subsidized meals during the school year. Now, children up to 18 years of age can receive a free lunch, regardless of their family's income. And some of the sites also offer breakfast and snacks. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'd like to hear. This is, to me, a problem with our society, to where we read that 64% of the students qualify for subsidized meals. What's going on out here? And why aren't we, as parents and families, more responsible to take care of our own? Somebody's got to pay for it, and it's the American taxpayer. Don't give me that it's all on grant money and everything. That money is coming from originally somebody's billfold. What are your thoughts about hearing those kind of numbers? 6 of 10 receiving free or reduced price lunches, and equivalating to 64% of the students. And to me, it's bothersome in our society that parents can drive their children to these 13 locations in Twin Falls, and I understand there's about 3 locations in Burley, and they can go there every day. They can afford the high energy gas prices to drive their kids there and get a free lunch. And it makes no sense to me. What are your thoughts? Please give me a call on this, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to hear your opinion. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Pomerell Place, and they're located at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. They're going to have a big health fair on July 8th through the 12th. I understand the Cassia Regional Hospital is going to be there performing the blood draws cause, and they're going to have over 30 vendors. This is an event you do not want to miss. Of course, Pomerel Place, a place for senior living, offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Don't forget to call and find out more about Pomerel Place, a place for senior living, 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, 677-8212. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I want to also remind you about Dino Septic Service and those good folks we really appreciate. They do a job that you and I do not want to do. Septic tanks pumped, septic tanks and drain fields installed, and of course backhoe services, liquid waste removal, all of this and so much more. Doing a job that you and I don't want to do. So please remember to give them a call. In Rupert, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Absolutely the best Dino Septic Service with that big truck that says, well, smells cargo on the way. You give them a call today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, it's Earl.
Yes, sir.
There's just a lack of adult supervision to go around in the world today. And last week, Tony said, I think he lives in Twin. He referred to it as walking through a field of zombies.
Uh-huh.
And I'm starting to feel like, the more I think about it, is the human race is being assimilated by their cell phones to the point they don't have any touch with reality.
You know, there's a lot to be said for what you've just mentioned because, quite frankly, I think the personable approach to people on a daily basis is gone. I've read a lot of stories and articles about everybody's got their head basically buried with their chin to their chest, listening to what's on the cell phone or watching or playing a video game or whatever, and they're not really availing themselves to who's around them and what's around them, and they've lost contact with the real world. I agree with you.
I work with kids here, been doing it, for 50 years, and it's hard to get a rope around it.
Well, we're not helping the situation. Okay, this is my bottom line on this, Earl. Caller number 2, stand by. I'll be right with you. This is my bottom line. What are we teaching these kids if 64% of the kids in one school district know they can get a free ride and nobody has to work for it? Just show up at the park and hand them a bag of food. Really, what are we teaching the upcoming generation?
The fact that they can't boil an egg.
Well, there is no free lunch, Earl. Anywhere in life, you've got to at some time pay the piper and be responsible for your own actions and what you have and don't have. And I don't think we're doing these kids any good by just providing and giving. That's a message that's going to be, I think, very harmful.
Well, it's leading this nation down to the lowest level that could ever be possible, and then I think I know what that turns it into and what the outcome is.
I agree with you. Earl, good to hear from you up on the mountain. Have a great day. The sun's going to shine. It's going to be a beautiful day. Thanks for calling.
That was a mouthful I just spit out there, Zeb.
Okay. I appreciate you, Earl. Thank you so much. All right. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. Don't you dare go away. I want to remind everybody about Nick Greenwell and all the staff of physical therapists at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Don't forget, they've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in this entire area, and oh my goodness, can that help you get back, like I said, to being you. All the exercises, they know, they care, they want to serve and help you. Number to call, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. You know, when I hear about this 64%, you're absolutely right. I live here in Twin. I see Twin Falls had the sign hung out, "This is a welcoming community." Well, I think it's going to end up, if we're not careful, a socialist city where everything is going to be provided by the taxpayers, and eventually the taxpayers are going to get fed up with what's going on. All their money's going out to the school system, which is a big drain on the taxpayers as it is. So if the people don't start revolting and have children in school, the taxes are going to go sky high in here to provide all this free stuff for these people that can really afford to do things on their own.
Tony, I'll go back and I'll mention to you, caller number 2, stand by, I'll be right with you. What are we teaching these kids? I mean, if they're going to be 18 years of age, they can still qualify to go get a free lunch every day. What are we teaching these kids? America is a handout? Is that what we're teaching them? You don't have to do anything to be fed?
This is a socialist society where everybody is going to be controlled by one or two people. You know, when I was a kid growing up, a teenager, one of the jobs I had, I was a tailboy. I sat on the back end of a truck, on a news truck, driving in all kinds of weather, dropping off newspapers to different stores. But you try to get kids to do something like this today, and you'd end up getting sued.
Either that or you'll be ending up out of business because you won't have any employees.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The welcoming sign has been hung up here in Twin Falls, and I think we keep getting all these people in here from other states like California. We're going to have a socialist state.
I could not agree more. Tony, it's always good to hear from you, my dear friend. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for calling.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Calls are welcome. And caller, I'm going to ask you to stay on the line just for one quick moment because I've got to have this on the air right now. A good word from the Silver State Stampede.
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber Office. Rodeo action at its finest. With the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact silverstatestampede.com.
There you go. Thank you. And caller, I appreciate your patience. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb. My personal opinion is it is flat-out laziness on the parents' part, and it's teaching the kids to be the same way. How much time does it take to fix a sandwich or a bowl of soup and teach your kids how to do it?
Yeah.
And I've got grandkids, and they know how to fix themselves a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They know how to get a glass of milk to go with it. And it's flat out ridiculous that parents are teaching their children not to do for themselves. And it's just laziness on the parents' part.
Well, to me, we're teaching these kids. Now, I don't care if I offend somebody on this because I'm going to speak my mind and give you my opinion. I agree with you. But we're teaching these kids that there is such a thing as a free lunch. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to put forth any effort for it. All you have to do is show up and somebody's going to give you a gratuity of food so you don't have to do a doggone thing. I am not in favor of it. I absolutely think that there needs to be restrictions on the program, and they say in here, regardless of their family's income. And you know as well as I do, my dear lady, you're going to have leeches on the system that can darn sure afford to pay, but they're not going to.
That's the whole truth. That they just I think it's ridiculous. We don't need that kind of problem. I don't care how poor you are. You can make yourself a sandwich, and a lunch, even if it's just crackers and cheese. It's still a lunch. It's done at home, and you have family connections. It's laziness.
No, I agree with you that it takes away a lot of the parental responsibility. And I find it kind of goofy in a way, and I want you to respond quickly to this because I've got another caller waiting. But at gas prices now that are well over $3 a gallon, and God help us, I believe they're going to go to $4, and I think it's ridiculous. But at $4 a gallon, let's say, to drive them every day to the park and pick up a lunch, it'd be a heck of a lot cheaper to stay home and make the sandwich you're talking about.
It sure would be.
Thank you for your call. God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody on Mondays, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, they have such a wonderful bakery with all the cookies and the pies and the cakes and everything else. Wedding cakes. Oh, they do a beautiful job. And then, of course, they've got a fantabulous restaurant at Sophie's Chatterbox on the square in Rupert, 530 East Street. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. You know, I believe this is a liberal program designed to teach the kids to rely on government for everything, and to try to get them more and more away from their parents, so that the parents have less influence over them.
I don't know. I just don't think that we're teaching our kids in the proper vein that they can, up to 18 years of age. You know what I was doing at 18 years of age? I had a full-time job, and then I was going to college, for heaven's sakes. I didn't get a free lunch.
Of course not. And, you know, that's how it should be.
I just think it's a slap in the face of the values in this country that we're supposed to teach our kids. I don't like these programs, and then you're going to have people come back and say, oh, well, these kids have got to eat, and their parents evidently are too busy to take care of them. That's not my problem. That's their problem as parents not doing the job.
Exactly, and if the parents don't take care of their kids, then there ought to be repercussions for the parents.
I agree. Thank you very much, Rod. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You bet. All right, buddy. Caller, stand by. I'll be right there. Got to pay the bills. Don't forget, lots and lots of folks are welcoming you to the 2018 Rupert 4th of July celebration, including Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Rupert. They've got all the carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminates, tile, everything. Absolutely installation is guaranteed. Magic Valley Carpet in Rupert. Along with Haskin Insurance Service, 629 Fremont Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-4141. They wish all their customers and friends a great Independence Day, 4th of July holiday. And don't forget, they handle all the insurance necessary for you to be protected. Call them today, Haskin Insurance Service in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning, sir.
I hope... Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you at first, so go ahead.
Okay. Feeding the kids like this is... I've seen signs going into the national forest and stuff that says, do not feed the wildlife because they will become dependent on it.
I'm chuckling because I was going to say that.
Pardon?
I'm chuckling because I was going to say that in just a minute.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely.
Anyway, isn't that what we're doing with these parents and the kids by giving them everything?
Well, let me ask you, I took a lot of heat a year ago. I talked about this same subject matter. Oh, my goodness, you should have read some of the emails. You should have heard some of the calls, and people said you have no heart, you don't understand, and it's paid for by the government. And I thought, wait a minute. How can you say it's paid for by the government when it came out of my billfold and yours and everybody else's to create that money to pay for these lunches?
Well, most of them think the government just prints the money and spends it. It's not our tax money that does it.
But what does it tell you as a dad and a grandpa when you hear the numbers 64%? Holy cow, Doug, to me that's an amazing number of people that are on the dole and expect freebies.
Exactly. That means 64% of the kids' parents out there are lazy and do not want to be a parent. They do not want to take the responsibility of feeding the kid. They don't want to take the responsibility of raising them right, to teaching them right from wrong. They want the government to do it. And if they want that, then why don't they go to Venezuela, go over to Russia, go to China, where they don't have to worry about it, and the government will take care of them.
I still go back to what I said a moment ago to that lovely lady that was on the program a few minutes ago. And when you figure the high price of gas, the absolutely asinine high price of gas and fuel right now, and running to the park every day to take your kids down there for a free lunch, balance out the cost a little bit for me, Dougie.
Yeah, if you got to drive 10 miles to get there for a $5 lunch, it kind of counterbalances, doesn't it?
I'd say the scales are going to tip negatively.
I think so, too.
But I don't think people do the math. It's free. They're going to take advantage, and I underline the word advantage of it, and they don't care. And when it says here, regardless of their family's income, that really tees me off.
Yeah, that really does. It's trying to, like Jerry said earlier, get a socialist society depending on the government, so a few people make all the decisions and we just go, yes, sir, ma'am, no, ma'am, or whatever.
Yeah. I know I'll probably get the hate mails again because those that send the hate mails, they don't have the backbone to call during the program. But I've got another call waiting, Doug, but if you would please give us your 15-second spiel and we'll say good day.
Well, everybody, let's do what we can for our senior centers. Let's support them, donate to them, put them in your will if you want to. Give them a little bit of your estate to help them carry on. And I am going to be kicking off a program tomorrow at Lunch Bunch.
Okay.
For the senior centers.
All right. I will look forward to it, and we'll give you the floor time. Thanks, Doug. God bless you, man. Caller, I'll be right there. Please don't go away. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. We're going to have Juan on the program for us tomorrow, and he's going to be talking about all the different kinds of equipment. You know, all the different equipment rentals, whether you need a lift rental or if you need any kind of tool rentals, if you need even a coffee pot, for heaven's sakes, and all the retail equipment sales, everything at Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli, and the Nampa location. They are the best at what they do, Barry Equipment and Rental. Don't forget on Tuesdays, we really have a great show with Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer, and that's, of course, the Stoats Equipment Company Ag Minutes, and that features agriculture and the people and events you need to know about right here in the Magic Valley. Thank you, Stoats Equipment, 119 Overland in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Better.
I might preface our remarks this morning by saying that, very unfortunately, this gentleman that's a dear friend to us and our program, you've got a little bit of a broken rib, but you're healing up and you sound pretty good, Keith.
Well, I'm going to make it, and that's what's important. That at 81 years old, my daughter came over and said, "You're not 50 anymore," and she really railed into me. And I said, well, I think it all depends on how you really feel.
Yep.
And I don't feel like I'm that old, so I guess I don't act that old.
Well, I hope and we hope and pray that everything goes well for you and you heal up.
Well, in regards to what you're talking about, my grandfather never even knew what Social Security was. We took care of our elderly and everything when they got old. We planned for it. And I think we made it all right. And then I think it was in the early 60s is when John F. Kennedy came out with Medicare. And I said, this is really the beginning of socialism. And I was very young then.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand a lot of things in life, but I could understand where this was going.
Well, let me stay right with what I'm talking about this morning, Keith. Keith, let me stay on track here with the lunch program. I don't want to get off into Medicare or anything else. I'm talking about the school lunch programs during the summer months. Basically, drive to the park and get a free lunch. And I think we're teaching our kids the wrong value system.
Well, I got out from my daughter because she tried it a couple of times, and I said, if you don't have enough money to feed your family, you come to me. Do not go to that park. I know the kids like to play on the equipment and stuff like that, but I don't want them to have what they call a free lunch.
Keith, I appreciate your call, and I want to extend to you and Nancy, all is well, I hope, for the future. Take care of yourself. I've got to get another spot in here real quick, and God bless you, my dear friend. Appreciate it.
I hope to be there tomorrow.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Thank you much. Lunch bunch tomorrow, by the way, at Denny's Restaurant. Don't forget that. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Like I said earlier, there's no question about it that I'm going to be called the Grinch that wants to take everything away, and I don't look at it that way at all. There are those in need. I can accept that. And this program will help, perhaps, those in need. But when you say that regardless of their family's income, y'all come every day to the park and have a free lunch, I don't think we're doing a service to our younger generation at all. And quite frankly, we're doing a disservice, a huge disservice, to parents, making it really easy to slide by on their own responsibilities. Your thoughts. Give me a call, 436-2244. Don't forget, Bennett Boys Auction Service is going to have a great big sale coming up this Saturday, June 23rd, starting at 11 a.m. It's going to be in Hagerman. It's the Hill Living Estate Sale, and it's in Hagerman, Idaho at 5422 North, 400 east of Hagerman. Look for the signs, managed by Bennett Boys Auction Service. They're going to have pickups and tractors and ATVs and farm equipment and trailers, shop equipment, tools, lawn and garden items. They're going to have everything, diving equipment, sleeping bags, everything. This sale managed by Bennett Boys Auction Service. Joe Bennett and the crew, 539-0111. And remember this, the Bennett Boys, they don't care. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys sell them all. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Zeb, do you see any similarity between what's happening in Twin Falls and what they want to have happen down on the border? I see a lot of similarity. Everything free. You just come, baby. I'll give it to you.
Basically, Bob, you're right, but Burley also has 3 locations of these 3 lunches. And I just think that the whole premise of the program has lost its effect and lost its meaning when you say things like, regardless of family income. Bob, that takes responsibility away from everybody to think that, oh, well, the government's paying for it. It's a freebie. Let's go indulge in it. I don't like this.
Isn't it funny that people can't make a lunch, but they sure have a lot of fun making these kids?
I agree with you. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate your call. You know, maybe I'm looking at this thing completely wrong and from the wrong viewpoint, but I don't think so. There was a caller earlier this morning, and for heaven's sakes, I can't remember who it was, but, you know, the lady said about making your own lunch. I am not trying to say I'm holier than thou at all, but I can honestly remember on the days when I was alone and Mom was working, Dad was working, hey, we fended for ourselves, and quite frankly, comparable and similar to what that lady said. Made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, had maybe an apple or an orange, Didn't hurt us a bit. Did not hurt us a bit. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb. I think this is me that you're talking to.
I hope it is, or boy, we got a problem. Go ahead.
There you go. Hey, I'll bite. I agree with you. I think it's. I think we're seriously deflecting some responsibility. Similar programs throughout the year with backpacks, etc., that we send home. Really, a can of SpaghettiOs is what, 99 cents?
Yeah.
If we can't afford 99 cents and maybe step back, can we maybe give up getting our nails done or, similar things to that? If we're going to have our kids, there comes the responsibility. I like your last caller's comment. Before we had our kids, we sat down and thought, my goodness, we're going to be able to afford these kids diapers, formula, et cetera, et cetera. It's responsibility.
I absolutely like the way you made that summation because, quite frankly, we're creating a society of dependency. Nobody is going to change my mind on this. If all of a sudden the rug's pulled out from underneath everyone and there are no more free lunches, there is no more welfare, everything, what are you going to do? Are you going to have a society that's going to sit there and just kind of wait to die, or are they going to get up and do something to try to fend for themselves? And at that point, they've got to learn again self-preservation and self-responsibility, which I think as a nation we've killed that attitude.
We've killed it. Dependency on the government is not good for us.
I appreciate your call. I don't recognize the voice, but I say, please call again. You're very observant, and thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. I am surprised that everyone has basically agreed with me. I was kind of hoping that we would have some people call that didn't agree with me. I mean, it's always good to get two sides. But when I sit here and I think about the numbers, and the headline in the paper said it, the first paragraph, when school's in session, 6 of 10 Twin Falls School District students receive free or reduced price lunches. And then they talk about the lunches during the summer, and they said 64% of the students qualify. Wow. Well, I could have probably swallowed and accepted 25 to maybe 30, but 64%? Hey, kids, let's get in the car. Yeah, we're going to run into Twin Falls and go to one of the parks and get a free lunch. Every day? Why? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Time for our weather forecast, and I think this is going to be one of the best weather forecasts I've heard in a long time. I'm just really anxious to listen to what Gina has to say, but it's brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, stand by 60 seconds, please. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. The number to call for a hearing screening appointment, 312-0957. Call today. Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, they are the best. Here's the weather with Gina.
Finally, some steady sunshine in our forecast. Here's a look at your weather on Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies for today. High of 79, winds out of the south-southeast, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 54. Tomorrow, again, another beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 85. Winds out of the south-southeast, right around 10 miles an hour, turning to the west. 15 to 20 miles an hour by the afternoon, and wind could gust up as high as 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies with a low of 52. By Friday, sunny skies and 81. Saturday, cooling down to sunny and 75. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Very well done. I love that forecast. Thank you very much. And Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, you can trust your hearing and your hearing health to Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. I did. You should too. Please get a hold of them today for an appointment. 312-0957. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's the good news guy about lunch. If you're hungry, the place to go is at the Senior Junction on South Overland between 12 and 1. Now, today we're going to have turkey and dressing and all the trimmings. We call it Senior Appreciation Day. Tomorrow we're going to have Sloppy Joe's, and they're always good. And Friday we're going to have finger steaks. So I want to invite everybody out for the best value lunch in town.
Joe, you always do a great job. You're kind of like the ever-ready bunny. You just never run down. God bless you, man. Thanks for calling.
Have a good day. Appreciate you.
All right. Joe Taylor talking about the Senior Junction. Great place to go have lunch. You stop over and see them today. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Talking about this free school and summer lunch program. I'd like to hear your remarks. Some of the sites that we were mentioning about the freebies, some of them also offer breakfast and snacks. You know, there you go. Well, you're going to go for breakfast? Yeah, let's go have breakfast, and then we'll go ride our bikes around, and then maybe Mom will take us back over for lunch. Oh, well, then we better pick up a snack later on, too. Dependency upon someone else to take care of you and feed you. I don't like this program, and it's going to take a lot of people to try to sway my opinion. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I also wanted to mention quickly, while I could, another little bit of a story. Last night I saw something that was very, very disconcerting. On Tucker Carlson last night, he has occasionally she's a bug-eyed woman. That's the only way I can describe her. She is one of the homeliest ladies I've ever seen in my life, Kathy Aru. And she is a dyed-in-the-wool liberal that looks like she's going to just jump through your television screen. And she was talking about how we as a society need to really do something with the boys in our society, because we can't let them be boys. We've got to get rid of that toxic masculinity. It's bad. And then Carlson asked her, well, what about the girls? Well, she said it's okay for girls to be girls, but it's not good for our society for boys to be boys. These are the kind of lunatics. These are the kind of nincompoops that are swaying society and trying to make society step out of the way of the rock on the trail instead of stepping over it and taking care of the issue. They want men to be nothing but glorified little wussies and wimps. Parents, teach your boy, your son, to be a man, to be strong, to be a leader of his community and his family. Teach them the way they should be taught, to accept their being a role model for society. Don't listen to these wussy wimps like this Kathy Arreo that wants men out of the picture. I don't know why this woman hates men so bad. Of course, I got a comment I'd make about her, but I better not. But it's just absolutely, completely ridiculous. Oh, let girls be girls, but no, you can't let boys be boys. They'll turn into toxic masculine men. That's bad. Oh, my. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There was good news, though. The other night, and I saw the excerpt on this, and I about fell out of my lazy boy. I was watching the news, and they were talking about what actor Chris Pratt said at the MTV Awards. He stood up and he said, praise God, and he talked about praying, and he talked about religion, and the audience in the background, they were cheering and clapping for him. Whoa! That's a major plus. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, my daughter has a friend that she went to school with that is one of these DACA kids, and she's been trying to find some way that she can sponsor him so he can stay in the country, and they're telling her the only way she can do that is he has to go to a family member.
Okay.
Does
So
that sound right? I mean, if you got somebody that was drug into this country as a kid, doing well, going to school, and we want to get him legal, I mean, why isn't there a pathway for that?
Okay, now let's talk about that a little bit. How old is this person, by the way?
Maybe 22 now.
All right. So basically, for the last 4 years, he has had ample time to try to check out the path of approach that he needs to take, where he needs to go, who he needs to talk to, what papers and forms he has to fill out, and then all of a sudden now at 22, the roof's going to cave in a little bit, and it's everybody else's fault. I put a lot of the blame on these people themselves.
My daughter's been working on this for 2 years. I mean, and their family, what they're pretty much coming up with is it has to be a family member to be able to sponsor him.
I'm not at all versed in the intricacies of whether it has to be a family member or if it can be a close associate, a business associate, or friends or whatever. I'm not aware as to really what the stipulations are. But what I am saying, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, they've had ample time to try to take care of this instead of waiting until they're young adults. They had like 18 to 22, you said, college age years where they know what's going on. They know what's expected of them. They know what their responsibilities are. They know that they've probably got to talk to some people and get things taken care of. And they've got to get their ducks in a row. It's not always somebody else's fault.
You know, but it's just a little frustrating when you're trying to help somebody that could stay and do some good in this country. I mean, all the MS-13 and all of the other stuff that goes on, but when you do find one that you need to help and you can't help them, it's pretty frustrating.
No, and I agree with you on that. Your verbiage right there was 100% correct.
My grandfather came to this country and was sponsored by a family. He didn't speak a word of English. He had to learn English from his Danish, you know, and being able to help somebody like that would be really cool.
No, and I can't argue with that. I think that the help and the assistance to keep somebody here that wants to be a working and viable part of our country and adhere to our laws and regulatory means and our Constitution, I'm all in favor of it. And boy, when you start talking about the absolute lowlifes coming up from other countries, Nicaragua, Honduras, whatever, that are members of the MS-13, it wouldn't take me long to shut the door and send them right straight back to their home country. Thank you for your call. I guess.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Had a little bit of a delay there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I have just a couple of comments. I can remember it was during Depression years, Mother and Dad took turns not eating a meal so that I'd have every meal. They couldn't go anyplace else or didn't want to. And then when I was in first grade, our teacher said, well, those of us that wanted to, each week one student would bring his favorite sandwich for the rest of the class. So I did. I brought my favorite sandwich, was asked never to do that again because my favorite was homemade bread, homemade butter with homemade ketchup. And they asked me, what did I forget to put in? I said, well, that's the whole sandwich. That's all we could afford. But fortunately, we had our own garden. We were able to get cow's milk, and we baked our own bread.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you, we're having a hard time hearing you, Adrian. You have a beautiful, soft voice, but I agree with you. And some of the things that I've made for myself when I was staying by myself, some of the sandwiches, your homemade bread, butter, and ketchup sounds like a delicacy.
Well, I thought so.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Some of the things that I've made sandwiches out of, I don't think I even want to put on the radio. I remember about a year ago, I got to say this real quickly, I was talking about my favorite sandwich, and you're not going to believe this. I call them an Ozarky sandwich. They are bread and mayonnaise and cheese and peanut butter and jelly, and if I have it, roast beef, radishes, and onions. And I'll tell you what, you might be going, oh, It's an absolutely delicious sandwich. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and they've got all the tires for you to get ready for a big road trip. You're going to go see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred? Well, I'll tell you what, hit the road ready, and then turn around, come back safely on the tires you get for your car, your pickup, your SUV, camp trailer, horse trailer, boat trailer, from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness, they've got the best, absolutely. And they want you to have a safe trip, and by the way, they've got a free pre-trip safety check where they check your air pressure in the tires, brake components, wheel alignment, tire wear, front-end components, shocks and struts, battery, including a load test. You bet. Service always reigns supreme at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And, of course, I want you to stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I got to run to the news. Wheels, take it away, old buddy. I'll be back in 7. Oh, good morning. Good morning on a beautiful day here in the neighborhood. And tell you what, Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of tires for your summer road trip. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, Wheels rolling at the board over there with this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
It is true. They are always at your disposal. I mentioned yesterday for all the summer activities, the concerts and the reunions and the parties. Don't forget the porta potties. My goodness, they can help you. Please give them a call at 734-6969. Western Waste Services. They are always at your disposal. By the way, too, our dear friends over at Hanson Mortuary, and they're going to really treat you to something really nice on the morning of the 4th of July. They're going to have a great big veterans breakfast right there at their location in Rupert. Don't forget, they're located at 710 6th Street in Rupert. And right before the parade, they're going to have that great big breakfast and everything. Oh, these are nice people. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff always very caring and concerned for you. And they always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Number to call, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary and Joel Heward. And Joel also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. By the way, tomorrow, Thursday, do not forget that we're going to have, of course, our visit with our Cassia Regional Medical people that are absolutely outstanding. Cassia Regional Medical Center, and, of course, quality care close to home with your friends and your neighbors serving you. Tune in tomorrow morning at 9:17 for Cassia Regional Hospital. And how about a hospital for your pets? Well, I know of one, and that's Ark Animal Hospital. Absolutely, at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union. Oh, my goodness, it doesn't make any difference. They're a mixed animal practice, big or small. They take care of them all. They love them all. Itty-bitty kitty cats all the way up to your dairy cows. Absolutely. Dr. Bill and Dr. Jordan, the whole crew, helping you and your healthy livestock. Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Good morning, Indianapolis, Indiana. Dave Bego, how are you?
Well, I'm kind of limping around, Zeb. I pulled a muscle in my right leg, and they're calling me hippity hop here right now.
Well, you know, you and I would make a good set of bookends.
Yeah, we probably would today.
If you have crutches, make sure you don't lose one, because all you'd be able to do is just walk in a circle.
Yeah, I don't have crutches. I'm just hobbling.
Well, now that you're hobbling and you're sitting down, give us a little bit of your opinion on a very serious subject that, in my opinion, is going to escalate and possibly blow sky high and create all kinds of chaos in this country, and that's the border situation that absolutely is out of control. What are your thoughts about this problem?
Well, if people go on my website, I wrote a blog on this several years ago, and I said that we got to secure the borders and stop this illegal immigration, because, it's bringing drugs and guns and everything else across, and people that are doing bad things, and also people that are working here are a lot of them are getting paid under the table, and then they get on our benefit programs, entitlement programs, and it's costing us a lot of money. And it's time we're a nation of laws, and we have a law that's very specific. And if you're coming into this country, you got to go through the process and be approved. And we got to get back to that. And I firmly believe that. Now, as far as the kids and that, I do believe that since our government over the past 10 to 20 years hasn't done their job in securing the borders, and these people that come in, I think what they should do is give them a period where they have to sign up. Sign up and to go through the process, and give them a certain amount of time to do it. And if they don't meet the goals and the specifics of being an American citizen, then they need to be deported. And but give them whatever time it takes to go through that process, and their kids at the same time, and then take it from there.
Okay, now an obvious question I would ask at that juncture: how are you going to find them? How are you going to return them if they don't follow the rules?
Well, I think that the government needs to put pressure, and this is another blog I wrote on businesses that are using people as independent contractors and paying them under the table, which costs the country money, because these people aren't paying payroll taxes, FICA, FUTA, SUTA, and all that kind of stuff, and they need to put pressure on these companies that are doing that, and it's pretty easy to figure out which companies are doing this.
Yeah.
The government just needs to start their investigation process.
I said something on, I believe it was on Monday's program, and I'm going to run this by you. I am sick and tired, and I mean that. And I hope every liberal out there cringes when I say this. But if you, the liberals in the audience, will be honest with yourself for just 5 minutes, and think about it, the laws that are being adhered to right now were the laws that Obama skipped over and didn't adhere to when he was in office. Trump is trying to follow the letter of the law, and he's taking all the criticism. Would you agree with that or not, David?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the far left's way of attacking the president and trying to bring him down. And as I've mentioned before, we're going to continue to see this stuff going into the midterm elections and beyond. But the Democrats and the unions want to get control of the House and Senate back, and so that's why you're seeing all this stuff. And they're making Trump look like a bad guy. He's not being a bad guy. He's trying to uphold our laws and give people the opportunity to become legal citizens and going through the process, and that's what it's all about.
I said also this week, and I was surprised, almost 90% of the calls I had on the program afterwards, they agreed with me. I said, okay, fine. If we're going to take these people and they're going to come helter-skelter across our borders and basically infiltrate our country and not go through the legal channels, and we know they're from El Salvador or Honduras or Mexico, whatever the problem, I say that this government, our United States government, should say to the people in El Salvador that are the heads of the government, okay, fine. If you're going to keep sending us your people and you have nothing for your people to stay for, we're going to hold off on any incentive programs or any cash programs as far as foreign aid until you learn how to take care of your people. Would you agree with that or not?
Well, absolutely. And what people don't understand in this world, and you listen to it, even religious people and stuff like that. They say that we got to be kind to these people and do things, but what we really need to do is incentivize the rest of the world and the governments to do the right thing for the people and give them opportunity to improve their society and their culture and their economy and stuff like that, so that they can have a good place to live too. And that's what we need to do in this world.
I said also, and I want you to tear this apart, I honestly believe that we, the United States of America, and the citizens are actually afraid someone that's coming into this country, and it's been proven, may become offended with our traditions and activities, and I see our traditions and activities and our culture being diminished because we're too doggone afraid to stand up and say, this is the way we are in America, take it or leave it.
Well, yeah, and you've got this political correctness working, and that's going on in politics and in the media and all that kind of stuff. And these people, and I hate to say it, but it goes back to my fight with the union. It's the same type of tactics. They go out and they throw out all this stuff out there, and it's misinformation. It's not true. It's lies and all that. But they do it to get these people that are coming in like this on their side and other people on their side, so they can continue their programs. And America needs to wake up to the fact that these people aren't for America, they're for their own purse strings.
David, this country, the richest country in the world because of the people, our citizens, have made it the richest country in the world. But economically and environmentally, we cannot become a sponge to any and all people that want to come here. We can't afford it. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I agree, absolutely, and that's why I say we're a nation of laws, and we need to enforce those laws. And if people can come into this country and they can pass, and they are accepted, they can come in and they can work in this country and help this country grow more and benefit. But if they're not, then we can't let them stay here.
I took a little tour the other day. I had to see some clients, and I drove around two great big communities in the southern part of the state. I was in Twin Falls and also Burley. And I got to tell you, Dave, I was absolutely knocked backwards on my hind pockets when I saw all the signs that say jobs are available, help wanted. There seems to be more of those signs up today than ever before, and yet we're looking at a welfare system and a giveaway program in this country where people don't want to be responsible. They don't want to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, and the employers are begging for people to come to work. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we see it all over the country and in our companies, and it's sad what's going on, because there's people out there that can work and are capable of working, but they're taking advantage of the entitlement programs in this country. And this is another area that this administration and Congress and the Senate need to get on board about, and they need to clean it up. And people need to go back out to work, and that will make people better. That gives them a chance to work hard and persevere and move forward. And but again, let's back up a minute. This whole program started back in 62, 63 with Johnson, and he did that to entitlement programs. All that is a means of getting votes from people.
Yes,
because they're giving them something in return.
We were talking the first hour, Dave, about a program that's going on here. It's been on for a couple of years. Free lunches to the kids during the summer, and also in some locations free breakfasts and free snacks. My reasoning against this program is there are no income requirements. Any and all can go down and just get a free lunch, and we're training these kids that life is going to give them a free ride. I am absolutely opposed to these programs.
Oh, Zeb, I'm with you 100%. and it's kind of like in schools and that, where everybody gets a trophy,
Yep.
whether you win or lose and everything like that. This doesn't incentivize people to go out and work hard and persevere and do the right things and move forward in life and improve themselves. And that's what you need. That's what made this country great. We went from people that came across here and started their own little farms and that, and then moved across the country, out west, and covered wagons and all that, and started their own ranches and places, and grew the economy, and by going out and working hard and doing stuff. That's what we need in this country.
But what are we teaching these kids when mom can drive down to the park every day and, okay, kids, go get your free lunch? I made the analogy earlier this morning, Dave, that with gas getting ridiculously high again, when you figure the drive to the park on a daily basis to get a free lunch, it doesn't balance out at all. But all it does is teach these kids, hey, I don't have to do anything. They're going to feed me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And but then again, that's our education system, unfortunately, over the last 30, 40 years, has been infiltrated by the far left, and they're trying to do these things to get in these kids' minds and control them. And eventually, as I've said before, they want this country to become a socialistic, communistic country that they can control, because it's all about control. And we see what happens with that type of government, and when you look at places like Venezuela.
Dave, there was a story in the news that I heard about and I commented on my program. A Chicago school principal, Chicago, naturally, the land of the kooks and nuts under Rahm Emanuel, the mayor, but a Chicago school principal invited a known cop hater who also supports cop shooting to speak at a career day. Did you hear about this story?
No, but I'm not surprised. It's just another part of the whole system to bring down this country. They want, gun control, and that's part of bringing it down, because if we don't have guns, we can't protect ourselves from them taking over.
But the story was so heinous when I heard it that this absolute vermin stood up there and he told the kids in the class they should hate cops, they should dishonor police, and he joked in front of the class about killing them. And this was on a career day, and the next day the superintendent resigned and she went her happy way. But the damage was done psychologically to these kids. I just can't imagine somebody being that low to put someone like that in front of a classroom.
It doesn't surprise me at all, Zeb. I've seen the left and fought it, and when fighting the SEIU, if you read my blogs afterwards and look at the SEIU, they march in the streets of California every year with the Communist Party.
Yeah,
and that tells you where these people want to go.
Are we so far jumping into the cesspool that we can't find the ladder to climb out? How far are we down that we can't get back up again, David?
Oh, I think we can get back up again. We just have to continue to go out and wake people up and make changes that will get people out there and be good citizens again, and get our government turned around. And Trump's doing a lot of good things in that area, and we need to continue to support him in that. And I'll say this about him, though. Again, he's more professional than he was in the beginning, but he still gets out there and gets off the wire sometimes in his tweets and stuff like that. But you need to be professional about it, but you need to get out there and wake these people up. In fact, before you called me this morning, I had a meeting with a gentleman that's running for the U.S. Senate here in Indiana, and we were talking about these things, and he agrees that it's time that we get out in front of the people in this country and wake them up, and it really expose what the other side is talking about and the lies that they're telling.
Oh, I agree with everything you said, and I'll jump on the bandwagon and I'll wave the banner with you, but my question is a simple one. How? How do you replace and replenish a mindset of the liberals that want everything a certain way and given to them? How do you replace that mindset?
I can tell you, and I've done it, and I've been there, is by getting in front of these people and sitting down with them and talking to them and explaining things. And this senator, I told him, I said, you need to get out in front of people and go through, because he's a good guy, and he's actually a businessman, which is good to see a businessman running for U.S. senator. And but you have to get out in front of these people, because my experience was when I did that and went out and sat down and talked to people, my own employees and other employees and customers and other people, and really exposed to them what was really going on, the truth about things. It's amazing how people stand up and understand.
One quick thought here. I'm almost out of time, but I wanted you, to comment on the absolute incompetency that has been shown by the leadership of the FBI and what's going on in the courts and some of these charges. I mean, holy cow, the Peter Strzok deal, he's still working for the FBI. I mean, this is insanity personified, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. And, I'm a firm believer, and I think I've said this back on your show when Trump first came into office, that you need to go in there and clean out some of these agencies and get people in there that want to be there for America, not for their own personal goals.
Dave, I absolutely look forward to having you on the program every week. I extend to you a very good week. Enjoy the summer, and thank you for being a part of our program. Author, businessman, great guy, Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me on. You have a great week out there.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Dave Bego. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have more right after Old Wheels. Old Wheels hits the button over there for the Silver State Stampede.
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber office. Rodeo action at its finest. With the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact SilverStateStampede.com.
I want to take a moment and I want to just give a great big shout out and a thank you to a business that has served Deanna and I over here for quite a few years. Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming Service. This is not a commercial. This is absolutely a testimonial to how great these folks are. We had some things that needed to be done, and they went that extra yard to help us, and I want to say thank you to Scott and Bruce and the entire crew at Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming at 336 South, 450 West of Heyburn, and just absolutely nice people. And the number to call, 438-2485. That number again, 438-2485 or 431-8733. I am very impressed with the personal service that they provide, and I urge you to give them a call for like your landscaping needs and your tree trimming and all that, because they just go that extra mile, and that means a lot. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hello, Jeff over to Lee's Furniture. I know he's listening, and he's going to be on the air with us tomorrow. And Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Oh, you've looked at your living room and you said, got to make some changes. They've got all the changes. Believe me, they've got all the furniture, and they've got all the carpeting, and they've got everything for you for the beautification and the comfort of your home. Oh, my goodness, they've got a fantastic selection of mattresses, too, so you can get a good night's sleep. Oh, my, it's all there. All you need to do is stop in and talk to the professionals in furniture and floor covering. And that's, of course, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland and Burley. Stop in and see Jeff and the crew today. And don't forget, too, every Tuesday we have a wonderful lady on our program, and that's Vicki at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, and the number to call, 438-5663. We have a program from 9:30 until about 9:45, and it's all of your gardening and your landscaping questions and everything. You know, I'm telling you, this lady is really sharp. I enjoy visiting with her, and she's got a great sense of humor. The lovely Miss Vicki at Vicky's Country Gardens, 438-5663. Give her a call. In just a moment, we're going to have one of my favorite guests on this program, but before I do, I want to remind you about Let's Ride. Oh, yeah, get your motor running. Boom, boom, boom. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Randy, Nick, everybody over there. I got to run over there tomorrow afternoon, as a matter of fact. Summer is here, and it's time to get up in the hills. It's time to enjoy all the beauty of the scenery here in southern Idaho. And 0% financing on ATVs and all the bikes and everything. I'll tell you what, they've got all the watercrafts. What are you waiting for? They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, yeah. This is where the fun is sold. You stop over and see them today. Okum dokum. Right now, I get a chance to talk to a wonderful, beautiful lady that I have her in the highest regard with her knowledge on what really, honestly, is happening on our border. And she's a national immigration analyst, Maria Espinoza, with being the national director of the Remembrance Project. Maria, good morning to you.
Good morning, Zeb. Thanks so much for those nice words. And again, thank you for giving our families a voice here in this issue.
Maria, I honestly, I don't even know how to say this because it sounds so negative and so dark and so sinister. But in all my years, I have never seen such a possibility of a huge explosion and chaos regarding immigration as I'm seeing right now from either the Democrats or the Republicans. And what are your thoughts about what's going on here? This is a mess.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Deb, this is a mess, and it's orchestrated by both parties. You know, as you know, many people, and especially these politicians, thought that Donald Trump was not going to be our president. So as you've seen, and many of your listeners see as well, that he has been obstructed at every turn. Everything that this president does, and for the betterment of our country, is being obstructed, and the deep state is very strong here in Washington, D.C. And, you know, again, the left is trying to pull the same race card to place use children as shields, all the while ignoring our children, America's children, that are macheting and beaten to death by people who shouldn't be here in the first place. All preventable killings, Zeb.
I want to ask you, and I'm going to be very poignant about some of the subject matter we talk about in the next few minutes. I want to ask you, first of all, about the DACA, the Dreamers. I do not know all the parameters as how they can stay here or what applications of permission they need to go through, etc. I had a call earlier this morning, and a gentleman said, why is it only family members can make the suggestion in the paperwork to keep them here, and it can't be another sponsoring family? How would you answer that?
Okay, Zeb, you cut out. Only the family member can make the application?
Yeah, what was asked of me, and Wheels Ride the Gain over there to make sure she can hear. It was asked of me why it has to be a family member that has to make the application for that DACA Dreamer to stay here. Why can't it be perhaps a sponsoring family? I did not know the answer to that question, and I wanted to ask you that.
Well, and that is a good question. However, I don't know that that would obviously, the minor, their guardian is their parent, either a parent or a guardian. So, we have a very difficult time in trying to decipher what the truth is, and if this minor actually is in the custody of an individual. And what we're having in Mexico is parents are giving their children sometimes for a price to these coyotes and drug traffickers so they can come to the United States and gain entry, and some of them are kidnapped. So we absolutely have to first establish who this minor belongs to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I got to say this, and if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I can take the heat. But, as far as the DACAs and the Dreamers and making compensation or maybe an amnesty for them or whatever, wait just a minute. I am so sick and tired of people from outside of our country basically getting more amenities offered to them than what's being offered to our own citizenry here in the United States. Do you agree with me or not?
I absolutely agree, Zeb. And every single country has the right to legislate and demand that its representatives represent them, their country, their citizens. And, for too long we've had political correctness and the very far left agenda. We've even seen the Democrat Party move far, far left. And I'm a former Democrat. I can tell you that party does not represent my values, but also the Republican Party does not represent my values anymore. And that's why this fight, and that's why we elected President Donald Trump. It feels good and it is right for our president and our legislators to represent for the betterment of Americans.
Maria, I've said many, many times on my program that we, the United States, cannot absorb all in the world that want to come here. We cannot be responsible for everyone from El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, wherever. We just economically and environmentally, we can't become a sponge. How would you respond to that?
You hit the nail on the head again, and that is true. Number one, we do not have to allow anyone into our country, and that's the baseline. However, we do allow people into the country through a front door, and that's an immigration process. And as the need arises in whichever industry, also we pay millions and billions, actually, Zeb, in U.S. foreign aid to other countries so that they can solve the problems in their countries. But yet, Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, they push out deliberately their undesirables onto the United States and are basically laughing at us as we are left holding the bag, paying for everything for their nationals. And while we pay them to assist them, and plus, let's take a look at Mexico, the remittances that they tax, which is a fee that they tax onto the money that is wired into their country from the United States. They get $2 billion a month average, a month. And this is B as in billions. So they have everything to gain while they laugh all the way to their bank and to their corrupt pockets, in my opinion. And they own our legislators as well. You can see what's going on right now with Paul Ryan doing all he can to pass an amnesty. And that's why I believe he's been forced out, because the people are in an uprising over this whole immigration issue and the fact that they are ignoring American children being killed and slaughtered, like I mentioned. It seems like the media, the fake news, is bending over backwards to show a family of minors. And remember, the parents place those children in harm's way.
Absolutely.
It's not our government, it's not American people, and it's certainly not our president.
You hit the nail right on the head. The blame has been shifted by the liberal loons and the Democrats, and they shifted it, and they did it in a very eloquent fashion, if you will, and they shifted that blame away from the responsibility of the parents, and they put it all on us, the United States, and our government and President Trump. I will say to you that I mentioned on the program 2 days ago that as far as El Salvador or Honduras or whatever country, I think Trump should be on the phone right now and say, by the way, to the leadership of Honduras, if you don't start cleaning up your act right now and become responsible for your own people, we're cutting off every foreign aid check as of the first of the month, and then hang up the phone. I think we've got to get tough with these people.
Absolutely. And we listened to his speech the other day at the Small Business Association event, and he actually said just that we need to stop U.S. foreign aid to those countries. And I think he tells us what he's going to do. and he told us he was going to secure the border and remove illegal aliens, especially beginning with a criminal illegal alien, and this is what he's doing, and people should not be surprised. We need people and more men and women like Donald Trump.
Maria, I honestly believe that with the more people coming in and the infiltration into our society and a disrespect for our laws and our Constitution, that we, the citizens of the United States, we're losing our community, we're losing our area's personality, and we're losing all of this to mixed cultures that come in and they really don't care about the United States and our heritage. Am I way off base in my thinking on that?
No, I think that people are confusing, culture with only tagging it to, let's say, a language or a type of cuisine. But it's not about that. It's about their upbringing, what their belief system is, whether or not many of these countries don't have a constitution like the United States has. So they don't understand our whole system of government. So when they come here, they just follow the Democrats because that's what they're told, that they are the carrying party, when in fact they're the ones who are really keeping them enslaved and in keeping them down as far as not assimilating, not learning our language. But you're absolutely correct in the fact that that these individuals bring a mindset and an upbringing that is not fluid with the American way of life, but also, some of these minors that are coming across, and this is a really scary part, Deb, that they're minors unaccompanied by a parent, and in their country of origin, they were these street kids.
Yeah.
Roaming the street, banding together at night, and, juvenile delinquents. And here we're bringing them into the interior and into our schools with our children, and they're forced to join gangs. They're threatened. Obviously, they've been murdered. Our children have been murdered. This is a whole lot of mess, and we're not even talking about the sex trafficking, human trafficking, rape, child molestation, the opioid and drug trafficking that all of this illegal invasion brings, because we don't know who's here.
Yeah. I absolutely broke down in tears night before last, and I'll explain why. I am sick and tired of hearing the liberal left, whether it's Schumer or Pelosi or Oprah Winfrey, anyone, well, these poor kids are being separated from their parents. And then the other evening, I listened to a mother that lost her daughter because of her daughter being killed by an illegal alien, and she's going to be separated from her daughter forever. My sympathy and my milk of human kindness has run dry, Maria. I am sick and tired of American citizens being put on the back burner, and no one seems to care.
Right, absolutely. I believe you're speaking of Angel Mother Wendy Chadwick Brown.
Yes.
Daughter Casey
yes.
was brutally stabbed to death and her body stuffed in a closet by an illegal alien from Haiti who had already spent time in prison for attempted murder, and the country of Haiti did not repatriate him. They refused to accept him back into their country, and guess what? We brought him here and released him into the community. He was a ticking time bomb, Zeb, and he viciously murdered this young lady.
Maria, with the Remembrance Project, what are you and your organization, what are you trying to do, and are you being successful? Are your voices being heard?
Yes, what we're doing, Zeb, is raising awareness and educating about the Americans killed by illegal aliens, and we also have a visual memorial to the victims called our Stolen Life Quilt. And we are being successful and in making the public aware, as you saw during the presidential election, that President then candidate Trump invited the families on stage and elevated this issue to the forefront of the entire nation. And I would like to think that we had a little hand in electing America's first president. So he was the only one of all the candidates on both sides of the aisle who embraced the Remembrance Project and recognized the families of the victims who are forever lost to their family, to their loved ones. He was the only one who reached out, and he continues to do that. He created the Office of Voice, in fact, last year, and the one-year anniversary is this month, in response to a promise to the Remembrance Project that he would assist the families of the victims.
What would you like my audience to know and or do in regards to the Remembrance Project and how they can be of any assistance?
They can go to our website, theremembranceproject.org. We have a Facebook page, Remembrance Project and Stolen Lives Quilt, Twitter, Stolen Lives QLT, and of course, Facebook and Twitter have all really suppressed and are stopping our reach in the public, because I've had just today 2 people who have said that they no longer get our notifications on Facebook when they're following us. So we know that's taking place. So sign up to get our emails directly with our website. And if you can make a donation, we greatly appreciate it. Just like everyone else, we are working hard. I'm a 100% volunteer. There's only so much that we can do on our own, Zap, as you know. So we have to keep going and keep pressing these legislators. And I think that our organization, along with thousands of other volunteers, have done a great job in calling and supporting President Donald Trump and letting him know, because he has to know that we support him, but also calling these legislators and telling them to enforce existing laws.
Absolutely.
And place Americans first. And an amnesty is not the answer. It would only encourage more amnesty and more lawlessness in the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more. Maria Espinoza, I salute you and I thank you for coming on the program. She's the National Director of the Remembrance Project, a very, very nice and knowledgeable lady. Maria, God bless. Thank you for your time.
God bless you, Zeb, and keep up your great work.
Thank you. A wonderful lady, and I always look forward to having her on my program, Maria Espinoza. Thank you, down in Texas. Right now, oh my goodness, we've got to get a weather forecast on here real quick. And the weather brought to you by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. They have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. And they want to remind everybody that there are some big changes to some tax laws this year, and many of the tax rates have changed, and there are new deductions. And if you've got questions that need answers, talk to the best, and that's Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. You be sure and get a hold of them today. Right now, here's the weather.
Finally, some steady sunshine in our forecast. Here's a look at your weather on Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies for today. High of 79, winds out of the south-southeast, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 54. Tomorrow, again, another beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 85. Winds out of the south-southeast, right around 10 miles an hour, turning to the west. 15 to 20 miles an hour by the afternoon, and wind could gust up as high as 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies with a low of 52. By Friday, sunny skies and 81. Saturday, cooling down to sunny and 75. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Man, it sounds good to me. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. And the weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Again, I want to remind you there are many changes in the tax laws, so get a hold of the best and talk to them. They can and they will help you. Come see them or set an appointment right now at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Really, really good people. I've got some time, and I would really, really appreciate your calls at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call on the landline. I would really like to visit with you. One story yesterday that I kind of had to gloss over, I ran out of time, is that in Dallas, Texas area, there was a billboard put up, and it said, "America is a Christian nation." Well, I was absolutely shocked when I heard that the Dallas mayor, a Weasley little man, said, you got to take it down. And he, the mayor, alone forced the takedown of that billboard because he said it was hate-filled and divisive. What, pray tell, is divisive and hate-filled about a billboard that says America is a Christian nation? It is a Christian nation. At least it was, and I hope will return to be. But it really surprises me that this pathetic mayor had the right to dictate free speech and told them they had to take down the billboard. We'll talk more in a moment. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zap.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Go ahead, please.
Well, Zeb, the only thing I wanted to say was it just sickens me, too, to think about this thing with this immigrant deal. And here we are paying Social Security, and Al Gore broke the vote and made sure that we had to pay taxes on our Social Security. And all of this tax money that's going in, it's just funneling right to the border and taking care of all these people. And I'm telling you, it's just pathetic. We don't have enough money to even take care of our own. They want to funnel it out of here and take it to the and give it to the border.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They give him nothing. They give him nothing in return. And the people, our school system. I read in the paper where we're educating over there in summer school, all them migrant, or I assume they're migrant, but it has increased double-fold in the last 2 years. And all them books and education and lunches and everything else is all coming out of our tax money. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with everything you said, and I think, but this afternoon, if you and I were in charge, we could absolutely stop the infiltration, and that's what it is on our border. I would demand that we send the National Guard down there. I would demand that we have funnel points to where they can only come through legally, and if they're not with a valid reason for being here or subjected to terror or torture, they turn around and they go back to their country. I know it sounds harsh, but I'll tell you what, in 90% of the cases, I believe the children are being used as pawns, and I think this whole situation is getting out of hand because of loony, stupid Democrats that absolutely will not follow the law.
Yeah, and I sit there and watched the news this morning with that Gail on ABC News this morning,
yep.
And she wanted to know where did they relocate the girls at? Where did they relocate the girls? She never said a word about the boys. What about the boys? Where'd the boys go?
And in most cases,
he is so lame out on one side. Unbelievable.
No, I totally agree with you. I think the American people should stand up and demand. I don't mean this in a real meek way either. We should all demand in a harsh way that America first, American citizens first, and by gosh, we want an accounting as to what they're doing with our money.
Yeah. It'll never happen in our lifetime, but I can complain, but it never goes anywhere. Them dumb politicians. And I'll be honest with you, I think the same way of our man Crapo. You don't hear him talking about anything.
I've got to have a reckoning with some of these politicians and find out where exactly they're placing their chair on what side of the fence, because I'm getting more disillusioned every day that I'm getting nothing but lip service, and I'm fed up with it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'll get off my stuff.
All right. God bless you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Zeb. You know, this lady that called in earlier this morning and had mentioned about this person being 22 years old and not done anything, and they're wondering what the government's going to do for us.
Yeah.
I appreciated your opinion on that. My gosh, they should have started on this when they were 18. And is one of our biggest problems right there.
Well, it is. And why can't people be responsible for their own situations and their own welfare and their well-being? I am so fed up with people relying upon politics and people relying upon a liberal policy, and they don't take care of themselves and pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. I have reached the point where I don't care about their circumstances because they're not adult enough or smart enough to take care of themselves.
Well, these people in Mexico that send their kids across the border with a coyote or whatever.
Oh, my
anyway,
gosh.
They make it to the United States. And then, for them to get any further progress, they have to have their family.
Yeah.
Well, a family's not a citizen of the United States. How can they do anything?
We have got a volatile, explosive situation on that border right now. I'm telling you, Keith, this issue has got to be resolved somehow in the near future, or it is going to explode. I've got to run and get ready with one more commercial, my dear friend. You take care of yourself and stay in that recliner.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Hey, don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. You know, they really care about you, your family, your business, and they can help you. Please remember the number, make a call, set up an appointment, and please listen to their recommendations. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, the number 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Tomorrow is Lunch Bunch Day, and we are going to be back over at Denny's Restaurant America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley. Hello, Thomas and the rest of the great staff over there, and we'll start at 11:30. We urge you to come on in. Bring your friends, neighbors, relatives, whatever. We'd really like to pack them in there tomorrow, and we're going to have a lot of gift certificates given away by Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerel Place, Denny's. Oh, come on. Let's have some fun tomorrow at Lunch Bunch. And that's at Denny's Restaurant America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley at 11:30 tomorrow. Coming up next hour, we're going to be talking to Alan Johnson with the Rupert 4th of July celebration for this year. Oh, they got a bunch of goodies planned. And then at 10:32, we're going to talk to Don Todd, president of the Americans for Limited Government. And he's going to be talking about unions. And, boy, there's some bad dudes trying to get a hold of people through the unions. We're going to talk more about that with Don Todd. A lot of things coming up. Zeb at the Ranch, don't go away. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh, good morning, and welcome back to hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and, of course, our advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wheels, we've had some calls, a little bit of crust on the line and cracking. How is it right now?
Well, it was bad during the show.
I told you to let me know if that cracking needs to be a reset on the line, so be sure and do that.
Okay. Well,
all right, thank you.
If we need to, we can reestablish during the final announcement.
All right, thank you. Right now, let's also remind everybody that Bennett Boys Auction Service is going to have a great big sale this Saturday, June 23rd at 11 a.m. at Hagerman, Idaho, the Hill Living Estate Sale. And this is going to be at Hagerman 5422 North, 400 East. Look for the sales signs of the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Don't forget they're going to have pickups and tractors and storage units and farm equipment and trailers and shop equipment, tools, lawn and garden items. They're even going to have diving equipment. My goodness. This sale managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Joe Bennett and his staff, 539-0111. Remember that big sale on Saturday over in Hagerman. And remember this, the Bennett Boys, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. While we have just a moment, we also want to remember some of the great merchants over in Rupert that are going to help help you celebrate the great big 4th of July celebration, and they welcome you over to that great town of Rupert, like Snyder Surplus at 116 South, 200 west of Rupert. Don't forget they've got everything from ammunition to mess kits, and they've got hats to boots, all the way from wall lockers to pallet racks. They've got it all. All you need to do is stop in. If you need it, you're going to find it at Snyder Surplus at 116 South, 200 west of Rupert. And also a big shout out to Senator Kelly Anthon. He'd like to invite everybody to the Rupert Square during all the fun and festivities for the families during the 4th of July celebration. There's going to be something there for everyone. And whether it's the great food, the fireworks, the horse racing, or whatever, Senator Kelly Anthon invites you to the Rupert 4th of July celebration. Right now, we're going to talk more about that Rupert 4th of July celebration, and we have with us on the telephone Mr. Alan Johnson with that Rupert 4th of July committee. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Zeb. I'm great. How are you today?
Well, I'm going to take a little time right now this morning to sit back and let you do most of the work and tell us, first of all, what's your job with the Rupert 4th of July committee?
Yeah, I'm the assistant chairman for that group, and my basic job is to line up the entertainment that we have for the 4th of July celebration. So it's kind of hard to believe that it's already here, but it's approaching quickly. And as you know, we celebrate for 5 days in the city of Rupert, so it's going to be a big celebration.
Absolutely. Alan, let me ask you this. I had a person call the other day. I thought it was kind of humorous. And after the program was over, they said, Mr. Bell, I think you made a mistake. And I said, really? What did I do wrong? And the person said, well, you were talking about a Christmas lighting for a 4th of July celebration. I think you said that wrong. I really didn't, did I?
Well, no. In fact, that's how we kick off the celebration. This year that'll take place. We get underway on Saturday, June the 30th, and the first event is the Christmas in July breakfast. It'll run from 6 till 10 o'clock down in the city square park, and that group is the one that works so hard to provide all the great Christmas decorations during the Christmas season. So this is a fundraiser to help them out, and it also has always been the traditional way we get the celebration started. And on that day, Saturday, our food booths will open around the square, so there's a variety of clubs and other vendors that come to help provide wonderful food around the park, and they're there for 5 days, so you can always find some great food there. In addition, we kick off each evening during the first 4 days with our Sounds of Freedom in the park. That's a free concert series that runs for 4 nights in a row, and we'll kick off that with on Saturday evening we have a band out of Salt Lake City called the High Society Band coming, and that gets underway at 7:30. In that same regard, on Sunday night we'll have a band out of Boise.
Mm-hmm.
And many people have seen them before. They're called the High Street Band. That's about 8 guys that do these colorful zoot suits and perform with trumpets and trombones and get out on the park benches and really have some fun with the people. Another entertainment event will be on Monday night, July the 2nd in the park. We have music by a group called Meridian Road, which features Rick Bowler and Bill Barton, who perform as a duo.
Right.
But they're bringing a big band to the stage on that day. And on July the 3rd, that'll be our last evening performance, also at 7:30. That'll be a country band out of Salt Lake City called Drive. So we've got 4 free nights of entertainment in the park for everybody to join us for, and we hope to see everybody there.
Let me ask you this, Alan. If you're the entertainment director and trying to find all these groups, that's not an easy task, is it, to find the music that's going to fit your situation on those respective nights? How do you go about finding all these groups?
Well, you're right. I mean, we try to find music that appeals to a cross-section of people, so we're always looking for bands that can play a little of this and a little of that, and in particular music that people have heard during the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And I've been fortunate enough to work with a couple of talent booking agents out of Salt Lake City, and then, quite frankly, I just spend quite a bit of time keeping my eye open for bands that are either performing in Boise or Salt Lake, and then we try to either get a person to check it out, or we start to follow them on the internet, and then we invite them if we think they're a good fit for the 4th of July. And our crowds have gotten bigger every year, in particular the first night, which is Saturday, June the 30th, because we get to the last song about 10:15, and then, of course, we have our giant fireworks display put on by the Rupert City Fire and Rescue people, and those go off at about 10:15, and by that point in time, there's usually around 5,000 people in downtown Rupert, so that is really a sight to behold.
Alan, you've got to admit that the city of Rupert, they've got an ace in the hole or an ace up their sleeve with that beautiful square. I'll bet you there's a lot of communities that would absolutely do anything to have the aesthetic value of that square in their city.
Well, you're exactly right, and it's the gathering point for lots of community activities, and in particular, the 4th of July is always called the square, the home base for our celebration, and we're glad to always go down there. People really seem to just love to come and enjoy the wonderful, summer evenings and enjoy the music and visit with friends. And as you know, that's a time when a lot of people come back for class reunions, for family reunions, and so it's always on our committee's mind that we want to provide good entertainment during that time and invite people to come and join us.
I was interested in a couple of other things, too. You mentioned, of course, the theme this year, I should say, America, Let's Celebrate. How do you, as a committee, ascertain what the theme of your 4th of July celebration is going to be every year?
Right. Well, we start this process about the 1st of November with setting up the schedule, and one of the first items to do is we brainstorm. All the committee members bring a few ideas to the table, and we try to make sure it always emphasizes the patriotic nature of our country's anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll put all those up on the board, and everybody takes a vote, and we start narrowing them down till we get to the one that we're all in agreement on. And so that is our theme for this year. And the Grand Marshals for our big parade that occurs on the 4th of July this year are Steve and Diane Scow, and so we're really grateful to honor them this year.
Let me ask you about a couple of other items, and I know next week we're going to have another person on the phone with us, but let's talk a little bit about some of the other specialty events that are going on. First of all, the horse races. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Well, the horse races are actually put on by another entity, which is the Rupert Downs Group, and where they tie in with the 4th of July. And the racing this year will occur on, I believe it's the 8th of July, and they're down just a little bit on having the number of races, but they're also, they'll occur, actually, they start, the first day will be on July the 8th, or July the 1st, which is Sunday.
Right.
And that's at 1 o'clock post time. And then they'll be back again on July the 8th with racing also.
Now, I can tell you this, that a real crowd favorite anywhere and everywhere is always the mutton busting for the kids trying their heart out to ride those sheep. When's that going to take place?
Right. So this year that'll occur on Monday night, July the 2nd. That's at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. It'll run from approximately 5:30 to 7:30, and if there's still room to get in that, and I haven't talked to Cheryl here lately, but those who would like to have their children involved in the mutton busting can pre-sign up with Cheryl Coyle over at Rocky Mountain Real Estate.
Okay. Now, one event that I threatened a couple of years ago that I was going to get involved in because it sounds like one heck of a lot of fun, and that's going to take place on the 3rd of July, Tuesday, and that's the Firecracker 500 lawnmower race. This thing's really got big, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's actually got big even beyond the 4th of July because the group of people who are involved in these lawnmower races have now got actually about 4 events that run during the summer and are scattered from Rupert to Burley. And so we're one of the stops, I guess, on what you'd call the circuit. We were actually one of the first events, and then they've expanded. But we call it the Firecracker 500. It's fun lawnmower races. You sit in the fairground stands, and these guys go at it pretty hot and heavy for a couple hours. That'll get started at 6 o'clock p.m. on July the 3rd there at the Rupert Fairgrounds.
Now, Alan, tell us what makes the Rupert 4th of July celebration so good, so great, and your parade one of the most watched events anywhere. Your parade over there on the 4th is excellent.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of reasons, but I think mainly the historical aspect of the fact that we've celebrated in Rupert for almost 100 years now, actually over 100 years, according to Gary Shoresman, who's our county historical scholar. And so it's got a long tradition, and I think we've always gone a little bit above and beyond than most communities in the fact that we celebrate for 5 continuous days, and most all of our things are free. So the special events cost a ticket to get into, but all of our park events, the entertainment is provided by the wonderful donations that come from our advertisers, and then Roberta Christensen and Sally Gibbons work really hard to also get corporate sponsorship and individual sponsorship and friends of the 4th of July who donate year-round. And yeah, it's a big job. We probably are up around $40,000 of money that it takes to put on the celebration, and we have to get out and earn that every year. And the people have answered by helping us to fund these things, and so I think everybody in the community has a stake and a part in making sure that the celebration continues every year, and we're certainly grateful for that.
I want to say thank you to Alan Johnson on behalf of the Rupert 4th of July Committee for being on our program this morning. Alan, just have yourself a wonderful time at the Rupert 4th of July activities for 2018 with the theme, America, Let's Celebrate. Thanks for being on the program this morning.
Okay, Zeb, thanks very much. And if people want to get a look on the Internet at our schedule, they can go to rupertfourth.com, and they will see a schedule of the events.
Excellent. Thank you, my friend. Take care. God bless. Have a good day.
Goodbye, Zeb.
Thank you. Nice man right there, Alan Johnson. I think I talked to him last year also in regards to the activities, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Every year they get bigger and better. By the way, more of the merchants over there in Rupert that invite you to come on over and be a part of the Rupert 4th of July celebration. Dixon Oil at 602 South 2nd in Rupert. Don't forget, they've been in business since 1951, and they are a great service station. Gas and oils and the propane for the heating. Daryl and the crew at Dixon Oil wishing you a very happy, safe 4th of July activity. And Haruza Insurance at 723 South 3rd Street in Rupert. Hello, they say to everybody. Come on over to Rupert and enjoy. Haruza Insurance, of course, can quote your commercial and business, auto, home, life, and health insurance. All you gotta do is call them and they will help you. Believe me, they offer the best combination of competitive rates and coverage. Haruza Insurance. And then last but not least, Snyder Paul Automotive at 205 West Ellis in Paul. Don't forget, Snyder Paul Automotive has all your auto and truck parts. Stop in, you'll be fixed up and ready to go. Leland and the crew wish everyone a very happy 4th of July, and let freedom ring. Absolutely. All right, I've got time for a call or two. Give me a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, I want to mention that my company that has this program and owns this program, we're getting bigger and we need another salesperson. And excuse me for choking up on the air. Hold on just a second, everybody. I've had that tickle in my throat all morning long, and I can't seem to get rid of it. We need another salesperson, and if you are interested, call me on my cell phone, and we'll discuss it after the program, naturally, at 312-2976. That number again to call, 312-2976. Earlier, it was mentioned about Gary Shoresman. And they're going to have an event coming up on this Saturday, the 23rd, and it's put on by Gary Shoresman and the Modern Woodmen of America, and it's going to be at the Rupert Elks starting at noon on Saturday. This is a benefit for the DeMary Library and Minidoka County Museum. You don't want to miss this, and I urge you to be there on Saturday. There's going to be a light lunch at noon, very interesting PowerPoint presentation about Camp Rupert, and of course, the funds for this go to help the DeMary Library and Minidoka County Museum. Thank you to our dear friend Gary Shoresman and Modern Woodmen of America. Like I said, I've got time for a call or two. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's see, I had one other story I was going to talk about here this morning, and let's see, what did I do with that? I'm trying to find it right now. Did you hear about that school, elementary school in Richmond, Virginia? Oh, yeah, they're going to change the name. They've had a meeting with the school board, and they're going to change the name that has been in existence for, I guess, almost close to 100 years at this elementary school. And now they're going to change the name to Barack Obama Elementary School. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy? And for those that don't know it, congratulations, and I think this man is going to do a phenomenal job of sticking his chin out and telling people exactly how it is. Congratulations to Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. He is the new president and head of the National Rifle Association. This is the kind of man that needs to be in that position, a tough man that will not back down to the liberal lunacy that's going on in our country. So, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, the new head of the National Rifle Association. By the way, tomorrow we are going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, and that's, of course, at 611 North Overland in Burley, and our lunch bunch. Now, due to some health problems last month in May, we were not having a lunch bunch, and so we're really geared up and looking forward to tomorrow. It starts at 11:30, and I urge you to invite your friends and your neighbors and your relatives, and we'll fill the place up at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley. Great food, super service, and we just have a lot of fun. We give away a lot of gift certificates, and we'd like to say thanks to those businesses, Walmart and Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerell Place, Denny's Restaurant, all of that, and we appreciate all their involvement. That's tomorrow, and that first day of summer tomorrow, too. Longest day of the year at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley, America's Diner. You try to be there. One other little plug I want to say is that on Thursday at 10:30, we have a segment called The Old Fishing Hole. And Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse is going to be someplace and he's going to be fishing somewhere, and we're going to be talking to him as he's holding the rod and reel in one hand and the cell phone in the other, and that's at 10:30 on Thursdays, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. And Reese and the crew, they've got everything over there, all your fishing equipment, hunting equipment, camping equipment, clothing, knives, food, everything at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Wheels, do we need to make a change on the line during the break at the bottom of the hour, or how are we coming through?
No, we can go ahead and reestablish it. Like I said, the static has been crazy, but it seems like when you call in, you sound clear, and then, like I said before we started the show, then it kind of...
Well, we don't want to let it elaborate and go any longer, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to call you back during our break at the bottom of the hour. Coming up next hour, we have a gentleman by the name of Don Todd, and he's with a group called Americans for Limited Government Foundation. He is the president, and we're going to be talking about unions and a lot of things that are going on with various unions across the United States. So that's coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels, and we'll reestablish the line. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
And a good morning to you on a Wednesday, June 20th already, and we're into our last half hour of the program for this morning. Next up, we have a gentleman that is the president for Americans for Limited Government Foundation, Don Todd. Don, good morning to you, and thanks for being on the program.
Good morning to you. I was just telling your screener, I have a long history in Idaho.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was Kootenai County, which is Coeur d'Alene, of course.
Yep.
Republican County Chairman in 1972. We switched the county from Democrat to Republican, and it's never gone back.
Thank goodness.
And then I was executive director of the Idaho Republican Party. After that, I worked on Wayne Kidwell's campaign for Attorney General.
My.
And then I ran Anyone But Church, which was one of the country's first independent expenditure PACs that we defeated Frank Church. And Steve Sims has said that he doesn't think he would have won without our efforts.
You know, you've got quite a history.
After that, I came back to Washington to be executive director of the American Conservative Union. I came to town with the Reagan Revolution, and I should have left with it.
Well, I guess my question would be to you, and Wheels over at the station, you got to ride the gain again. We're getting feedback on the line, Wheels. Don, what in the world, when you lived in God's country, why would you want to go back to the Potomac and live back there in the cesspool? I mean, my goodness, it must have been a tremendous job offer.
Actually, it wasn't. When I came back in 1981, I was executive director of the American Conservative Union, and Mickey Edwards was chairman. The offer was $30,000 a year, and Mickey told me, he was congressman from Oklahoma, that they'd had some financial problems in the past, but those problems were over now, and I could come back and run it. And I found out that they were $100,000 in debt.
Oh my!
Almost all of it 90 days past due.
Oh my!
And I had a lot of people threatening to break my legs. I didn't pay them. I mean, it was fun.
Don, let me ask you this. I want to get into the unions a little bit. I have never been a fan of labor unions. I have never been a fan of some of the coercing and the arm twisting that's involved, or the you will follow us or else attitude. What's going on with the Supreme Court and the ruling on unions and how it might affect all of us here in this country?
Well, there's the Janus case, which I predict we will win, because it's essentially a freedom of organization, a freedom of association case, in that California says if you want to be a state employee, you'd have to be a member of a union. And I would compare that to maybe the state of South Dakota saying that state employees need their Second Amendment rights protected. So if you want to be a state employee, you have to pay dues to the National Rifle Association.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's absurd. And if they lose that, the private sector unions have, when I was growing up, private sector unions represented like 30% of the private workforce.
Right.
And now they're down to like 8. And the only growth area they have is public sector unions.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason they have that is because some states require people to belong to a union. And that's just not right.
Don, what's the status in this country? Of course, now, the unions, when the first idea came out, I believe there was a lot of good with the various unions across the country, and they aided and abetted the working man. But a lot of things went clandestine, and things were held in dark rooms, and the doors were closed, and there's been a lot of arm twisting. And the transparency of a lot of unions is not very apparent to the public. What's the status of unions in this country right now?
Well, again, the only unions that are prospering are public sector unions. The Office of Labor Management Standards, which I ran for 8 years, and during those 8 years, I put close to 1,000 union officers and employees in jail, convicted them of lying and stealing.
Mm-hmm.
And the unions have a strange attitude towards embezzlement. They would rather cover it up and not have police action or prosecutions than suffer the bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people are stealing from their union brothers and sisters. And it probably surprised you to know that my wife has run an American Federation Teachers local for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I answer the phone over the years quite often with teachers on the other end crying, asking for her to represent them in a dispute with the principals and administrators of the schools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-union. I'm anti-stealing. I'm anti-lying.
When you say that, Don, let me go back about 8 years to the era of the Obama administration. And there were some illegalities and some shady things going on with the Obama administration regarding unions. Was it not?
Well, I don't know that for a fact, but I certainly suspect it, sure.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that as far as to the union audits and investigations and indictments that were basically declined by the Obama administration?
Oh, now I understand. Of course. The office that I ran for 8 years under Elaine Chao was totally decimated. And as far as the union concerned, the Office of Labor Management Standards is the only cop on the block.
Uh-huh.
And it was just destroyed. They just cut the funding. International unions are no longer audited. All the other audits of unions have gone down the drain. And it was an absolute disgrace. But, of course, it was of no interest to the media.
Why, in your opinion, did that administration treat that situation in that manner? Was there a reason for that? Was there something clandestine about it? Why?
Well, unions are now, it used to be the emphasis of unions was to protect workers.
Right.
Now unions are political organizations that are, their goal is to protect Democrats. And, it's very discouraging, and a lot of union members understand it, that they're no longer workers' organizations, they're political organizations.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit, if I can, in the time remaining, about our labor force right now in America. We're on the uptick. As far as I'm concerned, I think our economy underneath the Trump administration is on the upswing. We're looking at growth with the GDP. We're looking at the lowest of unemployment numbers. I mean, everything looks good, but we do have a problem, a reverse problem. We need people to get into the labor pool, and people are so accustomed to the handouts. How are we going to get them to get off the couch and go back to work?
Well, you know the story of Jamestown, where the first year everybody worked according to his ability and contributed to an equal pool, and they all starved. And then Captain John Smith says, you don't work, you don't eat. And that's kind of what we need to do today. I mean, if you don't work, you don't eat. But we've turned that around to you work, I eat.
Right. I hope that the Trump administration can turn a lot of things around in their tenure at office, but we have a caller with a question for you, Don. Stand by. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air, please.
Well, this is the thing. The American system is so efficient, even when there's so many people that are dragging it down, that are on welfare or working the system for various reasons. And so they don't have to work. And see, you say, well, what is going to make these people realize that they have to get out and save themselves and care about their country and their family? And it comes down to, starvation. But you see, now that Trump is the president, we are so efficient and so productive, and like nowhere else on earth. And so now you see this kind of welfare system, unless it is, enforced with law, they're not going to stop. And now, right now, they've got it better than they had it under Obama, the welfare recipient. I'll hang up.
Don, respond to the caller, if you would, please.
Well, a lot of people, for the first time in my memory, there are more job openings than there are unemployed.
That's right.
So we are going back to being the land of opportunity, and we would hope people would take advantage of that, and I think they will. It is, the human ideal of reaching up is inbred in people, I think. And then people will reach up and they will take advantage of the opportunities. And, instead of talking about that, we're talking about children at the border.
Right.
which is a totally manufactured in a news story. It's just a slime job.
I totally agree. You know, Don, I wish you well, and I thank you for being on the program, and certainly hope you'll come back in the future. And from a former Idahoan to a person that lives here, God bless you, sir, and come back again.
You betcha. Thank you.
All right, sir. Don Todd, president of Americans for Limited Government Foundation, and talking about unions and, of course, our workforce in America. I've got time for calls. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Time now for the weather. And I think it's a fantastic forecast. Oh, let's hear what Gina has to say in just a minute. It's brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. The number to call, or go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats, the breakfast sausages and the bacons and the bratwurst and the marinated prime ribs. Oh, my goodness, I'm drooling. Oh, it's good. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Finally, some steady sunshine in our forecast. Here's a look at your weather on Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies for today. High of 79, winds out of the south-southeast, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear with the low of 54. Tomorrow, again, another beautiful day. Sunny skies, high of 85. Winds out of the south-southeast, right around 10 miles an hour, turning to the west. 15 to 20 miles an hour by the afternoon, and wind could gust up as high as 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies with a low of 52. By Friday, sunny skies and 81. Saturday, cooling down to sunny and 75. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow and the crew. Here's that number again, 324-7657. Scarrows Meats. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. All right, calls are welcome. Come on, we've had a lot of different topics this morning. We've been talking about the free lunches in the park, and you know my animus towards that. And we've talked a little bit about the billboard down in Texas that the mayor of Dallas decided, well, he's going to dictate free speech, and he said that it's hate-filled and divisive, and the billboard was America is a Christian nation, and he demanded that it be taken down. You know, our country was founded upon Christian principles, not Muslim principles, not any other religious principle. It was based upon Christian principles, Judeo-Christian principles. And I'm sick and tired that we have to take a back seat. This mayor down there calling the billboard that was America is a Christian nation hate-filled and divisive. What are your thoughts on that? Give me a call. Robert Jeffress, the pastor of the church that wanted to put that billboard up, I listened to him and his remarks about this, and when the mayor demanded that that billboard be taken down, the church, the Baptist Church, and Robert Jeffress and contributors, they put up enough money to put up 20 other ones in other various locations. So the mayor might have won over one billboard and got it taken down, but the church and Robert Jeffress, the pastor, and the congregate members, they put up enough money to put 20 other ones up. And so I think the mayor kind of shot himself in the foot. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, I mentioned this earlier this morning, and everybody is invited to the 4th of July Veterans Breakfast at Hanson Mortuary starting at 8 o'clock in the morning on the morning of the 4th of July, right before the parade starts. They're going to have good eating. They're going to have all kinds of goodies there, bacon and cheese potatoes and crepes and everything. Oh, my. This started quite a few years ago, and the Heward family is a way for them to say thank you to all the veterans and the families in this area. So don't forget, that's going to be at Hanson Mortuary on the morning of the 4th of July starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody try to be there. All right, come on, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I would love to hear from you. We were talking about flags the other day and about keeping our American flags up and being proud of our flag. How many of you have noticed that flag on the interstate between Glens Ferry and Mountain Home? It's up on a lonely little ridge on the west side of the road, and it's up there, and it's just really kind of a piece of Americana. Out there in the desert area, high on a bluffy, kind of a rock-filled ledge, there is our American flag. And every time I go by there, my wife and I comment about whoever put it up there, they should be thanked. And it really is picturesque up there on that bluff. Good old USA flag right there above the interstate. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your phone call that I know is coming in, I want to remind you, too, about our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires as you get ready for a summer road trip. Maybe you're going to Kansas, maybe you're going to Florida, maybe you're going to California, whatever the case might be. They've got all the different tires, all the different tread designs for your car, your pickup, your SUV, boat trailers, camp trailers, horse trailers, everything. Stop in and see them today. They can and they will help you. And while you're there, don't forget, too, if you're going to plan a road trip, ask them about a free pre-trip safety check. Now, they'll take a look at the air pressure in your tires, check the brake components. Boy, when you say whoa, you mean whoa. They'll check the wheel alignment for any tire wear. They'll check the front end components, shocks and struts, and the battery, including a load test to make sure everything is shipshape and ready for you on your road trip. So stop in to any one of the 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike in Buell, Mike in Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. What's cooking for tomorrow on the program? We've got an open forum in the first hour, and tomorrow, of course, June 21st, the first day of summer officially. And then we're going to be talking to our friends at the Chamber of Commerce. We've got, of course, that great segment with the really top-notch professional people at Cassia Regional Hospital. The lovely Rita Ramsey is going to be on the program discussing all things political tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got Cassia County School Days, followed by, of course, the Old Fishing Hole at 10:30 with Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse. So be sure and tune in. That's about it for me today. I've got an appointment I've got to get to. Wheels, have you got a great patriotic song you can play right now for me? I've got to take off here a couple of seconds early, and then I'll let you carry it for the rest of the way. What have you got for me, buddy?
You know, if you'll give me maybe 30 seconds, I can do this real quick.
30 seconds. I can do that. I can tell everybody again, tomorrow is Lunch Bunch. Wheels is going to be there. I hope his mom is there, his grandma's there. Everybody is there at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. And that's, of course, at 611 North Overland in Burley. And we absolutely want you there. We say thank you to our gift certificate sponsors, Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, along with Pomerelle Place and Denny's. And we're going to be there at 11:30 tomorrow for Lunch Bunch. And Deanne just handed me a note, and he's going to be on the air too tomorrow. Thank you very much, Deanne. And right now, without further ado, we're going to say we'll saddle the horse tomorrow morning at 8:06, ride for 3 hours, Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be.